Poor leadership and the failures of the French monarchy were the most influential factors in the causing and early perpetuation of the French Revolution. Leading up to and throughout the French Revolution, the image of the monarchs declined, resulting in a loss of respect and trust for the monarchy. The young age of Louis XVI at his coronation proved to be an issue, with Louis XVI saying himself,
"Protect us, Lord, for we reign too young."
The young marriage of Louis XVI and Austrian Archduchess Marie Antoinette was not well received by the French people. Rumors were spread that the royal marriage had not been consummated, and their failure to produce an heir soon after their marriage further perpetuated these rumors.
Among the Third Estate, impoverished writers known as the Grub Street hacks made a living denouncing and making fun of the royals. Louis XVI's sexual deficiency was a common focus, and the fact that he spent his spare time picking locks fed great irony to the Grub Street hacks and their debauchery. Pamphlets and papers with explicit illustrations of the monarchs were also distributed. As it was a common belief that the monarchs were chosen by God, this led to desacralization of the monarchy. Louis XVI's poor economic policies also tarnished his reputation. His involvement in the American Revolution led to the emptying of the French treasury of 1.3 billion livres. This, in addition to the lavish lifestyle led by both monarchs, created a debt that could not be carried. It also provoked a dislike for the monarchs, as seen in the name Madame Deficit given to the Queen Marie Antoinette.
Compared to other European countries, the French debt was small, but the need to tax nobles was apparent. Louis XVI's finance minister Calonne proposed a system to tax nobles. It was the logical action, however the nobles refused to be taxed without being given more power. Instead of addressing the issue and creating a solution, Louis XVI dismissed Calonne. Calonne's successor, Loménie de Brienne, endorsed Calonne's proposed reformations, but failed to get them passed in Parliament. This caused a standstill in the government, and Louis XVI chose to call the first meeting of the Estates General in 175 years. Going into the Estates General, the nobility began to push for an aristocracy. As the Third Estate wanted to avoid this at all costs, they turned against the nobles, but were still willing to work with the monarchs.
However, after a 6-week deadlock, the Third Estate declared themselves the National Assembly and began to demand a more just voting system. Under pressure from the nobility, Louis XVI closed the hall where the assembly met, angering them. The National Assembly refused to back down until a constitution was drafted. Louis failed to acknowledge this in a timely fashion, and the government spiraled out of control. In a panic, he summoned 18,000 troops to Versailles. Due to these military actions taken by the king, citizens of Paris grew unrestful and began doubting the king's alignment. They began to arm themselves, leading to the storming of the Bastille. Throughout the events leading up to the revolution, the king failed to acknowledge the loyalty the Third Estate had for the monarchs. The feeling of abandonment this instilled in the common people is what caused them to finally revolt, despite their initial desire to keep and reform the monarchy as opposed to destroying it. The desacralized monarchy, plagued by Louis XVI's laziness and poor leadership, made a long string of irresponsible and poorly guided decisions which led to the birth of the French Revolution.